Okay, so here we go again. We've created our basic rectangle and the donut tabs on the top. And from the last video, I created one hole, the smaller hole going all the way through. And within the sketch, as you can see, I have placed the circle or the center of that circle using the sketch dimension exactly where it needs to be before I go ahead and I do my rectangular pattern. So we're going to create another rectangular pattern, and it's asking us what questions. There are the questions up here. What is it that we want to create the pattern out of? Well, I want to make this circle, and direction, I want to choose an edge that is going to go in the same direction, and the distance shall be spacing, and the quantity should be 9 at a distance of 8 millimeters. And in your other direction, again, if patterns usually come in rows and columns, we're just doing a row in this instance, so the quantity, we still need 1, we don't need any more than 1, but we still need that 1 at a distance of 0 because it's just the 1. We'll go ahead and we'll click OK, and there's our circles all the way through. You can see everything rotated around. You can see it on both the front and back side. Next thing we need to do is we're going to create another sketch, and we're going to add the larger diameter, or the extrusion, to the outside of this. And again, the reason we're doing this separately is because when we create the pattern for these, or we go to mirror it, if we try to mirror this circle that's going all the way through, I don't know if it's the browser version or again, I'm fairly new to the browser version, so I don't have an exact answer, but my guess would be that it's going all the way through. So if you try to mirror that on both sides, it's kind of going back and forth against itself. Is my guess. Again, whether I'm not 100% sure on that, but it doesn't work. So let's fix it. Let's do something else. Work our way around it. Let's create the sketch, circle, center of the circle. You need to be careful here because as soon as you pull this up, it asks for this plane. Remember, you don't want the plane. You want to choose the face or the center, where we're going to draw on this face and not this plane. So don't just go ahead and click. Make sure that you're choosing the face of this side, and it'll take us into sketch, and we should be able to find that same exact center. Let's zoom in a little bit to ensure that we're on the same. And the other circles were 4. These are going to be a 5 millimeter. So we'll type that in. And we only need to do one. We don't need to dimension because it's all based off of where this first one was. So we only need to do that dimensioning once. And we just need to stop this sketch and go ahead and extrude just the donut shaped area, not the inside of the circle, but just the donut shape. And make sure we have this tilted to the way that we want it to go. And this is going to be a negative 0.5 or half of a millimeter extrusion. So you can see there we have our extrusion again. Again, the extrusion is in this instance, on mine, it's going to be a negative 0.5. Yours should be that as well, but if not, it's just a half a millimeter indentation or extrusion in. Now that we have that, we can stop the sketch, and from this we can create our rectangular pattern to extend these down to the rest of the circles along this face. Now we're not doing the other side. Basically we're going to do the rectangular pattern, then we'll create the plane in order to mirror it, so we can mirror all of those extrusions or indentations to the other side. Let's go ahead and do that. under Create, Rectangular Pattern, the questions that we have up here are, what are the objects we want to mirror, or I'm sorry, to make the pattern out of? Well, we want this, we want this flat face, and I do believe we want this outside face in order to make that happen. The directions in which we want it to go, it's just going to be one direction as we're only doing one row. Your distance should be spacing again. It's just easier. If you want to do extent, remember it goes from the center of the first circle to the center of the last circle. So the extent from this point to this point will be the extent of where those circles can go. That's if you're using extent. So you would need to measure this entire distance from here to here. If we just use spacing, we know that the spacing is at a distance of, again, 8 millimeters, and there should be the quantity, again, of 9, because that's how many circles we did before. And we're not doing any columns, we're just doing rows, so we only need one. I'm sorry, we're doing, yeah, you know what I mean. We only have it going, we only need one row of these, not multiple columns. And then once we have that, we should be able to click OK, and it should give us our indentations for the rest of those surfaces or circles all the way down the side there. Okay, so that is creating the rectangular pattern, or the extrusions, the holes in the front face, and then also your extrusion just on one side. So next we'll go through and we'll create a plane that we can mirror, and so that we can get these other sides for.